This is Sterling with the Handle with Care podcast, and today we have Dr. Lisa Snow, who is a dual credit instructor at Woodruff Career and Technical Center. Welcome, Dr. Snow.
Hey, thank you very much.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and say which school you work at and what your role is in that school?
Sure. My name is Lisa Snow. I am a retired assistant chief from Peoria, the city of Peoria. I worked there for 28 years, and currently I am a dual credit instructor. I teach criminal justice at Woodruff Career and Technical Center. I've been here for about 5 years.
Awesome. Now, you had a previous career that you retired from, which was the
City of Peoria
Assistant
Police
Chief of
Department.
Police.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I started there in 1990 when I was 22 as a patrol officer, and I worked in many different divisions. I was a detective for 8 years. I was on the SRT team, which is Peoria's version of a SWAT team, as a hostage negotiator. I was in charge of the field training program. As a sergeant and as a lieutenant, I helped develop the training. I got promoted to being a captain, and I was in charge of patrol. I was also in charge of administration, and eventually I was a captain for about 10 years. I got promoted to the assistant chief position, which is the second from chief.
So being in law enforcement and then going on into teaching, what has surprised you the most?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think that what has been the most surprising is just how incredible the kids have been and how much I've learned from them. Every day I learn something new. They're constantly educating me about what is happening in the school, the language that's being used, the acronym. It's constant. I'm always learning something from the kids. And just the potential that's here in District 150 is incredible.
Awesome. So I'm in your class.
Yeah.
And I see how you go above and beyond for students, but can you share a little with the audience how you support your students and why you support them?
So when I worked for the city for all those years, I really saw so much need, and I really thought that there were a lot of gaps that needed to be filled. And when I was a detective, I was a juvenile detective. So during that 8-year period, I worked with children who had been abused and neglected, and I worked with children that had committed crimes. So I was instrumental in, unfortunately, incarcerating kids, which was just incredibly sad as well. After I retired, I really wanted to give back to the community. When the opportunity came to work here for Woodruff, I took it thinking this is going to be an amazing place to give back to a community that's given so much to me. I loved working for the city of Peoria, and I still just want to be involved with the kids and with the community.
Perfect. So what do you see your students struggling with the most?
Well, it's really the trauma of living in an urban environment and living at, many of the students that I have live at or below the poverty line. And there's just so many things that go along with that it really impacts their life. I also think that a lot of the kids have not had somebody really say or reach out to them saying, hey, your potential is probably a lot bigger than what you thought it was. I have the opportunity to really get to know the kids in a different way because I have them for 2 hours and 15 minutes every day. Other teachers do not get them for that amount of time. So I get to know them so well that I really have a lot of opportunity to talk to them about their future and see where they're going and see if there's options for them that would be something they haven't even thought about.
How have times changed since you were a student?
Oh, wow. Things have changed a lot since I was a student. The kids now deal with things that we could not have even imagined. Constant violence to the point where, sometimes you're worried about your safety when you come to school. Is somebody going to jump you on the way to school, on the way home, while you're in school, while you're in class? Trying to learn when all of that is going on around you, the shootings in the neighborhoods, actually losing classmates to violence. We never had that. That just didn't exist when I was there. We had a student that died of cancer, and it was a terrible thing at the school. We had another student that died in a car accident, and it was incredibly impactful to us. but we never lost anybody to violence. And now it's happening so often that it's become normalized.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost normal now.
It's
and it
almost
shouldn't be.
normal. Yeah, it's really gotten so much worse.
Did you have a supportive teacher when you were a student?
I had several. I really did. And the one teacher, she is no longer with us. She passed away a number of years ago. Mrs. Newkirk in high school. She was my creative writing teacher, and she really pushed me a lot and said, you really need to go to college. You really need to continue to write. Don't give up on writing. And maybe at some point in time, someday you might want to be a teacher. Of course, I became a police officer first, but I kind of circled back around, and that's where I'm at now. So yeah, I did. I had a great teacher.
What high school?
Many of them.
What high school was that?
I went to Washington High School. Yeah,
okay.
Yep. I went there all 4 years. So
Awesome. What would you tell new teachers coming into this field?
I would tell them that you're going to have really bad days, and you got to make sure that you can power through those bad days, because you're also going to have really good days. You're going to see kids, especially in high school. I'm working with juniors and seniors. I'm seeing you guys graduate. I'm seeing you graduate. And the potential and what you're going to do with your life, it's incredible. And seeing the kids come back that have graduated now, they're coming back a couple years later. And I also teach at Bradley in the history department. And I have a lot of kids that come back and talk to me later. And the fact that they'll even come back and talk to you means that you must have made an impact on them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. And they come back and they talk about their life, and it's incredible. So for new teachers, you're going to have bad days, but remember when kids are having behavioral issues, there's a